Okay, so the first card you have your past is the Four of Pentacles. Okay, there's a really strong feeling in this card. I'm seeing a couple of different things. The first thing is, it feels like an inability to accept something. It's like, it's like someone's told the truth. Someone's been told the truth. They know something. They know the truth, but they can't accept it. They don't believe it, or they don't want to believe it, and they just wouldn't let go. They wouldn't let go of this. It's like, no, I'm right. I don't want to believe that. I'm not listening. I'm just holding on to what I think. And it feels a little bit like they wouldn't let you go as well. But yeah, they wouldn't accept what you were saying. And I think this is someone, they have a lot of problems. They have a lot of problems. And I think their biggest problem might be that it's not just with you, it's with a lot of things in their life. They won't accept the reality of things. They won't accept the reality. They can't accept the reality. That's what I'm getting. Yeah, this is really strange. This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing bombs, one of those classic kind of round bombs with a spark. It's like there's an emoji. It's just like that, like a bomb. And they have all these bombs, and this is what's happened to this person. I think all through their life, what happens is a bomb goes off, and sometimes these are self-made bombs. Not literally, but they've gotten themselves into situations, explosive situations, and what happens is they just try to put a lid on the bomb when it's happened, when the problem's happened, and they just put it away. They try to do that, deny it's there, and of course it goes off anyway. A problem happens, and they're always in denial. So they have these disastrous situations behind them, and then they just try to bury them, but of course that doesn't work. And I think what was happening here is you were trying to tell this person, you're trying to say no, no, you're saying no to them, that they're wrong and they have to change, and that you're not accepting something, and they just weren't having it. I keep on feeling that they're around you. It's like they're in your energy. They might even be living with you or near you or something. And I think you were trying to take steps to change the situation or do something about that. It feels very clingy. It feels like Velcro. I know that sounds a bit cruel, but if this is you, you'll know about this. This is a very, very difficult person, and there's a bit of danger around them, not physical danger, but they're difficult to be around, very, very difficult. It doesn't feel good to me. That's what I'm getting. The other thing I'm seeing in this card is there's a lot of work. It feels like a bit of a drudge. If you look at this man, he's wearing a crown, and there's a great big coin on top of his crown. And it looks really, really heavy, and it feels like your crown, who you truly are, was sort of just buried under things you had to do, and obviously these are coins, so this is probably the daily grind of day-to-day work, and you had to do all this, and of course everyone has bills to pay, everyone has to do that, but it feels a little bit more than that to me. It feels like this used to be fun, this was fun once, but now it doesn't feel fun. That's kind of what I'm getting. So I think something might have changed, might have been in your workplace, where you kind of feel as if you were valued once. You had your crown on once and you were respected once, but now it's been covered by the coin. So people saw your crown, and now you might be feeling as if, it feels like you're part of a machine, instead of being seen as a valuable person, an individual in your own right. So, if you've seen changes in this workplace, in the structure of the workplace or whatever, if it's all changed, and I think the atmosphere's changed and the culture's changed even, there is another change that's coming in. I think someone else might be taking over or something like that. So there's a big mix-up that's coming around this. And I think you might eventually move on to something else. It might be something where you work on your own, actually, because this man's on his own, and he has his back to the town where everyone is. So that's what I think is probably eventually going to happen to you. It might have happened already because this is in the past, or you might be thinking about going out on your own. Okay, so the next card you have your past is the Five of Cups. So Yeah, whoever this person is who's around you or they're around your energy, I think they are physically around you actually. They can't handle what you're telling them. They can't handle the truth. There's something you're telling them, there's something you're trying to tell them, and they can't handle that. They're like, no, no, no. They're insisting that they just don't want to listen, or they can't handle what you're saying. And they are a bit of a problem to you. They're quite difficult. I keep on seeing that. But what I'm getting is, you're not telling them this to say, haha, you're wrong, I'm right. It's not like that. It's not about that. You're trying to get them to learn. You're trying to get them to change. Because there's this pattern behind them and around them even. I keep on seeing, all these different things have happened in their past. And some of these problems are self-inflicted, some aren't. But the ones that aren't, it's like the way they've dealt with things. They've kind of made things worse. So I think you're trying to help them with that, and you're trying to help them to change for the future, so they don't keep on doing the same things. But the thing is, if this is you, if this is what you're trying to do, I just think, they're going to have to recognize that on their own. I think, the universe has obviously tried to give them all these lessons, but they haven't listened. They will one day, they'll have to, but there's only so much energy that you can keep on putting into this before you just have to let this go in some way. But even then, I'm getting this, I just keep on feeling it's hard for you to let go. It's hard for you to let this go because they're around you, or they're around your energy, and there's some kind of difficult, complicated situation around that as well. I'm not sure what that is, but it feels very difficult for you to move out of this situation. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, so the last card you have for your past is the Three of Pentacles. Okay, let me just... Yeah, okay, so this is what I'm seeing in this card. I'm just having a look at this, because I'm looking at this and the Four of Pentacles together, because it's kind of, okay. Yeah, so yeah, this can be about workplace situations, and sometimes it's about having to work with people, or even in situations that you would choose to be in. So that's obviously where you are, if this is all resonating. And look at this as well. Look at these coins here, these 3 coins. They look a bit like cogs in a machine. And I was seeing that in the Four of Pentacles. You used to feel more like an individual. There's a lot inside you, a lot you can contribute, a lot of very, very unique things. But it's kind of like, what it feels like, it's like the individual's kind of being buried. It's being buried by a machine, if that makes sense. Everything's kind of done a certain way. It's set to rules. It's you do this, you do that, and nothing kind of fits outside of those rules, if that makes sense. And again, I'm seeing some changes coming to this workplace, freshness, a new person coming in, sort of like they're coming in with a big broom and they're sort of sweeping everything away, changing things around. But I think by the time this happens, for a lot of people, and for you and for other people as well, the heart's already gone, the heart's already out of this. People's individualities, or their sense of themselves, their individualism, that's already been pushed aside for this machine. That's what I'm getting. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I think there are a lot of people who are going to leave this behind, I think. And yeah, if this resonates, I think you're probably going to be one of them. And if you feel that, if you feel that this is about you, and you are thinking about going out on your own or doing something else, when you do eventually do that, I think it's going to be a really good thing. It's going to be very, very liberating for you. It's like you're going to be able to keep your crown, like this man in the Four of Pentacles, and your money as well. And that's what's going to happen at some time. That's what I'm seeing. So it's really good to see that reassurance for you if that's what you're thinking of doing. All right, so the first card you have your presence, the Knight of Wands. Yeah, okay, so if you do have this idea about going out on your own, whether that's a business or it might be contract work or something, I know it can be really, really scary. It can be really scary when you've worked for someone or a company or whatever, and you're relying on that set amount of money. It can be really scary, at the thought of losing that. It's like, oh, if I go out on my own, I'm going to lose that. And quite often people are brought up, and I was brought up like this, it's like, you go to school and then you go to university and then you get a job and you stay there. It's all very secure and everything. Or maybe jobs were secure at one time, but there aren't many that are secure now. And when you compare being on your own with working for someone else, to me, I think they're probably just as secure or as insecure as each other. People can have retirement funds through work and things like that, but there are similar things available for people who are self-employed, and there are so many different options and things you can do about that. I mean, really, these are just little things. And yeah, as well, there have been scandals, a lot of scandals where, companies have taken people's savings, retirement savings, and they've put them all in something and they've lost money and then it's all disappeared. So, I don't want to make people worried about their savings if they're in a job. I don't want you to feel like that. That's not what I'm trying to do. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a normal job, or, I have a normal job. I do other work apart from this. So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I'm just trying to point out that being out on your own, if you've planned things properly, if you've set things up properly, it can be just as stable or even more stable sometimes than working for someone else. So if this is what you're thinking of doing, if you are a little bit nervous or you're a bit up and down like the horse on this card, take your time, plan things, go into it slowly. And if you do that, and you can keep your job, and go into this gradually until you're ready to, be totally on your own. Take your time. There are lots of different variations between, right, I'm working for someone else all the time and I'm working for myself all the time. There are variations in between as well. So don't see this as a big stressful thing that you're kind of jumping into. I'm sorry that was so long. I was just seeing someone who was really worried about going out on their own, and I just want to encourage you or whoever this is for. Okay, so the next card you have your presence, the Eight of Wands. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of communication here. I don't know if this person's an ex, this person in the Four of Pentacles. It feels like they do have a lot of feelings. They do have a lot of love for you. I can't quite tell. I can't quite tell whether this is platonic love. It might be a relative, might be a friend, or if this is romantic love. I wish I was able to say, but it's very mixed here. So if this is resonating, you'll know which one this is. There's a lot of mixed up energy, and they're a chaotic person as well in a lot of ways. Chaotic, a lot of chaos. I'm just looking at this in the Knight of Wands at the same time, and I'm just seeing this person kind of rushing off, doing things without really thinking, or they get themselves into things and then the results aren't good, obviously, but then they just try to bury the problem and then they just go out and do more things again, more of the same. So yeah, if this is someone who lives with you, you might be feeling really mixed up yourself, really messed up with all of this that's going on. I'm just looking at these wands and, they're flying over this house and it looks like they're getting away from the house or they're leaving. But it also looks a little bit like they're about to fall. You can see they're about to fall and crash somewhere. So it might be that you're worried that if they leave, they might crash or something bad might happen to them or something like that. So, if you'd like this person to be more independent, but you're worried about them, just see if you can phase things out slowly, if that makes sense. So, for example, you might say, okay, by this date, I want you to have done this. And by this date, I want this to happen, I just hope that might be a silly suggestion, I don't know, but I just hope that all makes sense to you, because I'm just getting this feeling that it's not as easy as someone just leaving or moving out. It has to be done carefully, and there's a lot to unravel. There's a lot of little kind of problems that aren't on the surface, and there's a lot to work through. So, just work through it very, very slowly with them if that's what you feel that you need to do. Okay, so the last card you have your presence, the Five of Wands. Everyone has this card this week, just about everyone. I think this is the chaos season. It is with me. Okay, so yeah, anyway. Yeah, again, this is a lot more complicated. Here it is, complications, mess. It's a lot more complicated than someone just leaving. I think you might have some people around you sort of saying something like, oh, just tell them to leave, or just leave, or do this or do that. And, they think it looks like, the Eight of Wands, really streamlined, easy, no obstacles in the way. But your reality is a lot more like this card. It's messier, it's more complicated. And okay, yeah, I know we all need to vent problems. And if we have them, and you do have problems, and if you can find a safe person to talk to, a non-bossy person, someone who's not like me, if you can find someone like that to talk to, yeah, absolutely talk to them. But I think you do have people around you who you might be talking to, and they're telling you, this is what it looks like. They're telling you what to do, but they have no idea how complicated this really is. And, really, some of these people, they give their advice, and, it's like you're supposed to do what they say and just kind of deal with the consequences, but they don't have to deal with those consequences. You do. They go off into their nice homes and they sit down and everything's fine, but you have to deal with what they're telling you to do. So, so please just be careful of who you share this information with, and maybe just think about, I hate categorizing people, but you might have to do this. Think about 2 categories of people, and the people who are safe to talk to, one group who truly understands you and they want to listen to you properly, and another group, another category where they don't. And talk to the first group about serious things and talk to the second group about the weather. So I hope that makes sense to you. Yeah, don't only talk to those people who really, 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 truly care about you and understand you properly. That's the message there. Okay, so the first card you have for your future is the Two of Cups. Okay, yeah, when I first look at this, it looks really, really nice. Yeah, it seems nice, it looks nice. There's someone else around you. I think they do listen to you, which is good. I don't think you talk to this person about these particular problems or anything like that. You do have some really good conversations with this person. I'm seeing you getting a lot closer to them. You're getting closer and closer to this person. This is what I'm seeing. And it's through your conversations. So you have conversations, you really kind of click with them, you get along, and you have more conversations and you get closer to them each time. That's what I'm seeing. Now, there is a little bit of, there's a bit of a feeling of, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this. So just be careful, if you feel yourself getting closer to this person and this might be something that maybe you shouldn't be getting into, it might be fine, but I just want to tell you that I just wanted to warn you, because it might be that they're already with someone, or it might be you, I don't know, but I'm just getting this feeling of, we're getting closer, we enjoy being together, we're very close, it feels good, but there's a little bit of guilt there, and that's there for a reason. If I'm feeling that, it's there for a reason. So if this is about you, I don't want to judge you, that's not what I'm here for, but I'm here to warn you, when I see things, and it just doesn't feel good to me, I should say. It doesn't feel clear. That's what it doesn't feel clear. It doesn't feel like the slate's clean, if that makes sense. So it might be that there's someone else around this, a third person. So just watch out. So that's all I'll say about that. I don't know if you know that or not, but yeah. Okay, so the next card you have your future is the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, this feels very practical to me, this card. So yeah, I'm seeing work here again. Yeah, I think what this is showing you is that, again, if you are thinking about going out on your own, definitely do something like build up a cushion, build up some savings first. Personally, I don't think you're going to need them. I think you're going to go quite well. Everything's going to go quite well when you do go out on your own, if that's what you do. But this is about a feeling. It's about feeling secure, feeling ready to go out on your own, and sort of having that foundation behind you so that you're not as stressed, you're not as worried. It's like, oh, I don't want to make that decision, I might lose money. And so if you have that cushion behind you, you're not that fearful. And look at all the growth in this card. This is where your growth is. This is where your wealth is. And I know it sounds like I'm trying to sell it to you. I'm not, but This is where your wealth is. This is where your abundance is. So yeah, if you're thinking about doing this and you're not sure whether to start, just make some kind of a start now. Doesn't mean you have to do this great big launch or this big announcement. Just do some little things. Start saving if you haven't already. Start looking into how you can start. Make some. Make a few little starts somewhere. I'm not sure what you need to do. Depends on what you're doing, but do something. Start small. Just start small. That's what I'm seeing in that card. This is really, really good. Really good growth here if you do this. Okay, the last card you have, your future, is the Hermit. I'm not trying to sell this to you. I'm really, really not. But look at this. On your own, we've got the Hermit. So it's all over this reading. These cards are all telling you, they're all encouraging you to think about, at least make a start, or at least think about or plan going out on your own. Follow your own path, follow your own star, like this Hermit. He's got this beautiful star in his lantern and he's going along by himself following that. And yeah, that's the way to your abundance. That's the way to yourself. And that's the way to having, which I'm looking at this Four of Pentacles again, that's the way of having the coin as well as your crown, because you'll be independent by yourself. You'll have your own crown. You'll be king or queen of whatever you're doing, plus you'll get the coin, plus you'll have that abundance. You can have both, and yeah, you can dissolve both. That's what I'm seeing. Beautiful, beautiful reading. I love this.